I want to thank Judy Johnson for doing our reading today, and Rev Lori McMacken for the beautiful message. She's a gifted speaker and shares some wonderful ways for us to see the light in others. I also want to thank and acknowledge Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, and our CSL music team for the great music that supports the message today. Because today we're concluding our month of May, which was living from the intuitive side, and we're exploring seeing the light in others. Let me begin by having us gather in that sacred space of remembrance, in memory of. We pause to honor the people that shaped our lives with their love, with their courage, their sacrifice, their wisdom, their laughter, their presence. Some are family members whose voices still echo in our hearts. Some are dear friends that we miss very much. And today especially, we remember all the brave veterans who offered their service, and in many cases, their lives, so that we could live in freedom. You know, memory is a holy thing. To remember is not simply to look backward with sadness. It's to carry forward the gifts that were given us by those who have passed on. Love doesn't disappear. Courage doesn't vanish. Kindness leaves fingerprints on our soul. So if there's someone that you miss, I invite you to do more than mourn their absence. Celebrate the impact of each person who showed up in your life and who showed up in our meditation today, and honor their legacy. Every life leaves light behind, a light that everyone on the planet has, and which Reverend Lori is going to tell you about ways that you can honor. She provides us a marvelous way to honor our loved ones, whether or not they've left the planet, actually. I'll let her tell you about it.
Hi, this is Reverend Lori Mack here, and I am at the San Diego airport. I'm actually going to Detroit. My stepfather had passed away, and he was in Ohio, so we'll be visiting my stepmother in Michigan and going to Ohio for his funeral. He was 93 years old, and we loved him dearly. He was a veteran, matter of fact. He was a well-decorated veteran. And before he passed away, I have a 501c3 called the Butterfly Effect Global in Odisha, India, where there are tribal villages who have been praying for years and years for a clean water well. So we provide clean water wells, and they're called memorial wells. So if you have someone in your life that you love and you want to memorialize them by giving clean living water to a village in India, this is a beautiful way to do that. The wells are fairly inexpensive. They're only $1,950 for a whole village to have water, and they're very much appreciated. So my stepfather, Gene Grant, I've already designed the well for him. They've made the well, and next week they'll be inaugurating that well. I didn't know when they were drilling it that he was going to die, but I had bought a couple wells just because I like to buy them just to serve the people. This is a leprosy colony that we have. We provide them food rations, clothing, beds, all their needs are met. So blessings to everyone. Happy Memorial Day. And don't forget your loved ones who served our country. And it's a beautiful experience to give back to humanity. That we're not only serving our country, but we're serving the whole human race. Have a beautiful weekend.
And Reverend Lori's website is butterflyglobaleffect.org, and I'll post that with today's message on our website. And now, before I turn you over to Reverend Larry for her message today about seeing the light in others, allow me to give you your question for the week. What is the one choice you might make today to see the light in others, to shine your own light in love, and to reflect on how things are in your life right now? One more time. What is the one choice you might make today to see the light in others, to shine your light and love, and reflect on how things are right now? And now, enjoy Reverend Lori Mack's message.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Dr. Lori McMacken, and it is a pleasure for me to be with you this morning. This morning, I'll be talking about seeing the light in others. So I want to begin with a confession. This week, I was standing in a long line in a grocery store, and the person in front of me had 17 items in their 12-item line. I noticed something rise within me, like a judgment and an irritation and a small self-righteousness. And I thought, here we go. Because that moment, that tiny flash of annoyance of a stranger with too many avocados is exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about people, glorious, maddening, irreplaceable people. A friend once summed it up beautifully. People, you can't live without them and you can't live with them. And in the science of the mind, we understand that something profound. The people around us are not just people, they're mirrors. They are teachers. They are, if we're willing to look deeply, portals to our own divine nature. Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, taught us that life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. So today we're going to ask, what are we thinking into life? What are we seeing when we look at the people around us? Elisabeth Kubler-Ross, the great physician and death and dying pioneer, gave us this beautiful image. People are like stained glass windows. In the sunlight, they dazzle. But it is only when there is darkness around them that their inner light, the light coming from within, truly becomes visible. Think about that, a stained glass window in the dark room, and with no lighting from inside. It's just glass. It's dark. It's heavy and maybe even dirty. You can't see its beauty, but then there's a candle lit inside the cathedral. Every color blazes, crimson and cobalt, and the gold leaps out. The window becomes a testament to something magnificent. And people are the same way. When life is easy and the metaphorical sun is shining, most people look pretty darn good. It's when life gets hard, when there's grief or loss or difficulty or conflict, that the question becomes, is there light within? And the religious science, our answer is unequivocally, full-throated, yes, there is a light within every human being. The science of the mind teaches us the same intelligence, the same love, the same life that created the stars and set the galaxy spinning. That very same presence dwells at the center of every single person you will ever meet. No exceptions, not one. Holmes wrote, there's one life, that life is God, that life is perfect, and that life is my life now. Repeat that. Repeat it after me. There is one life, that life is God, that life is perfect, that life is my life now. This is a core affirmation that's good to have in your back pocket. Even when you want to pray, you just start with this prayer. There's one life, that life is God, that life is perfect, and that life is my life now. So if that is true for you, it's true for everyone. The divine doesn't play favorites. The light that is in you is the same light that is in everyone else. The question is not whether the light is there. The question is, are we looking for that light? So here's where the teaching gets really interesting and perhaps a little bit uncomfortable. You cannot see in others what you do not already have in yourself. That's right. You cannot see in others what you do not already have in yourself. And I say it like in a short term, you spot it, you got it. Could be good, could be something you need to work on it. It doesn't really matter, but you spot it, you got it. This is one of the great metaphysical and psychological insights of our tradition. When we see beauty in another person, their kindness, their creativity, their courage, we can only recognize it because that same quality lives within us. And we know it. We resonate with it. Like recognizes like. But here's the flip side. And this is the part that takes genuine spiritual courage to look at. When we're irritated by someone, when we find ourselves rehearsing their failures, cataloging their flaws, judging their choices, there is almost always something there that we have not yet made peace with within ourselves. The psychological term for this is projection. We take aspects of ourselves that feel uncomfortable, unacceptable, or unresolved, and we project them outward onto others. And we see in them what we are unwilling to see in ourselves. Carl Jung called it the shadow. Religious science calls it that we have a belief that we're separate from God. Whatever we call it, the invitation is the same. Look inward. When that person in line at the grocery store irritated me, the real question wasn't about how many avocados she had in her shopping cart. The real question was, where in my life am I breaking the rules that I'm holding others to? Where am I taking more than my share? Where am I oblivious to the impact that I have on others? But also, wow, what a gift. The people who push our buttons most powerfully are often our greatest spiritual teachers, and they are showing us with great precision exactly where we need to do our work. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. I'm going to ask you a couple reflection questions that you can ask yourself. So number one, how are you experiencing the people in your life right now? Just in general. Number two, how are you finding yourself irritated by many folks, or do you constantly run into helpful and kind sort? And number three, take a moment to notice, how might this be a reflection of where you are right now? So what do we do with all of this? How do we actually practice seeing the light in others rather than just talking about it? Let's start with recognition. The world, as our tradition, teaches us that is full of amazing, committed, powerful, and sensitive people. The world is also full of flawed, challenging, and sometimes maddening people. And here's the thing, they are the same people, every single one of them. Which ones are you focusing on? That's the question. This is not a call to be naive. It's not a spiritual bypass, pretending that harmful behavior doesn't exist or that we must tolerate everything with a beautiful smile. No, our tradition calls us to wisdom, to healthy boundaries, and to discernment. But there is a profound difference between discernment and condemnation, between seeing clearly and seeing darkly, between this behavior is harmful and I'm choosing not to participate in it, and this person is fundamentally broken and beyond redemption. The science of mind gives us a tool. Holmes calls it spiritual mind treatment. I'm sure you heard of that, or affirmative prayer. And one of its most powerful applications is not treating for ourselves, it is holding a spiritual vision for others. So when I see someone struggling or acting out or being unkind, making choices that seem to cause harm, I can't stop and I can breathe. And I call this stop, drop, and pray. And I can remember there is light in there. It may be deeply covered. It may be buried under layers of pain or fear or conditioning, but I know there is light in there. So when I hold that vision, when I see the infinite with the finite, when I see the divine with the difficult, something shifts, not just in my perception of them, something shifts in me because the focus we hold externally is always a reflection of what we are cultivating internally. So when I practice seeing the light in others, I'm also practicing being the light. When I look for the best in people around me, I'm training my consciousness to expect the best. And what we expect, what we hold in deep places of our believing, is what we tend to experience. So here's a simple practice I want to offer you. It takes about 30 seconds, and you can do it anywhere. The next time you encounter someone who is difficult, a frustrating coworker, a critical family member, a stranger who is rude in traffic, pause before you react. Not to stuff down your feelings, but to create a space of choice. In that space, silently offer them this. The light of God in me recognizes the light of God in you. The light of God in me recognizes the light of God in you. You may not believe it fully at first, and that's all right. Affirmation is not about pretending, it's about choosing a higher truth and training our minds towards it. Just like Holmes says, change your thinking, change your life. Also, there's an ancient Sanskrit greeting, and it goes like this: Namaste. It means the divine in me bows to the divine in you. Every culture, every spiritual tradition has found its way to the same recognition. And there's something sacred at the center of every human life. Our practice is simply remembering that over and over again, especially when it's hard. And as you do, as you shift your focus from the shadow to the light, from the flaw to the divinity, from the brokenness to the wholeness, watch what happens. Not just in your relationship, but watch what happens to you. The mirror of life, which reflects back what you hold most deeply. So let us hold that light. I want to leave you with an affirmation. Affirm this: everyone I meet is a radiant child of God. I shine my light and love by focusing on their light and inner beauty. Everyone I meet is a radiant child of God. I shine my light and love by focusing on their inner light and beauty. So I invite you just to close your eyes and go within, and I will give an affirmative prayer. So I know there's one life, one presence, one power, one love that is animating intelligence of this entire universe. That life is God, that life is good, that life is the source of all that is. I know this one life is not somewhere far away. It is right here, right now. It is within every person on this Zoom call, within every soul that I encounter today. The same presence that breathes through me breathes through them. We are made of the divine substance. And so I declare, I see clearly, I see truly, I see the light that lives within each and every person I meet. Even when I am struggling to see it in themselves, I hold the vision of their wholeness, their beauty, their divinity, even when I have forgotten. And so in doing so, I find my own light growing brighter, my own heart growing open, my own life growing richer with my connection, compassion, and joy. And I am grateful for this truth. I release these words into the law of mind, knowing that it's true, and so it is. Amen. Namaste.
Wow. Did you enjoy Reverend Lori's message as much as I did? Perhaps the greatest way to remember those we love is to live more fully, love more deeply, and forgive more quickly, and treasure those moments of our lives that we still have. And of course, recognizing the one life and seeing the light in everyone we meet. And since Reverend Lori Mack did such a beautiful prayer, let me just remind you of your affirmation for the week. How is it I so easily, effortlessly, and willingly see the light in others, shine my own light in love, and reflect on how things are right now? And my challenge for the week is committing to know that there is indeed only one life that's God's life, and we are all connected. And of course, I encourage you to commit to using some spiritual practices to remember how to see the light in others. We will be bringing some of those up in our Going Deeper, so join us then. And of course, I want to thank everybody that continues to contribute to our community so that we can continue to be a presence and bring this wonderful philosophy to so many more people.